I'm Lori Burkhart-Frank. Thank you for joining me for this special Women's History segment of Nevada County Now, where we are exploring the lives of women around our community who are themselves making history. I'd like to introduce you to my guest today, Lisa Swarthout. And Lisa has been serving our community since 2004, first in Grass Valley as city council and mayor, and most recently since 2023 as our District 3 supervisor, and now the chair of the Board of Supervisors. And she has served on many boards and continues to serve on local boards, including the Grass Valley Downtown Association, Nevada County Economic Resource Council, the Friendship Club, which is now Bright Futures for Youth, Silver Springs Foundation, Seroptimus of Grass Valley, and she sits on the board for the Center for the Arts, Sierra Memorial Hospital Foundation, and volunteers at Sammy's Friends. Probably a lot more too, Lisa.
I'm tired just listening to that list.
I know, it's amazing. And it's all about serving. I want to start with the question we've been asking women on the show is there a woman in history that you really look up to, and why?
Wow. You know, there's so many women who came before me who've done such amazing things. I think one person who really stands out in my mind is Gloria Steinem. When I was in college, she came and spoke at, I went to California State University, Chico. She came and spoke to us, and she was inspiring and fascinating. And I just always followed her and had so much respect for what she's done for women's rights in the country. She continues to be a force for making sure that women have equal rights, equal pay, health care, reproductive rights, all the things that I really strongly believe in. So I'd say she, and then also I have to just throw in my grandmother in there. And I bring that up because my grandmother, she passed away when I was young, but she was also a retail person. So I am third generation retail, and I think I got a lot of my skills from my business life from her. So I've always
Does she retail here in Grass Valley?
No, in Sacramento. As a matter of fact, she owned a bridal and special occasion store in downtown Sacramento for many years. Every once in a while, back in the day, I would have women come up to me who go, "Oh my goodness, I knew your grandmother. I bought my wedding dress from her." And I have lots of fond memories of being in the basement of her building with her seamstress, just being intrigued and enthralled with the bridal gowns and the special occasion dresses. It's just always really stood out to me.
I can't even imagine as a young girl to have that opportunity.
It's kind of ironic that I ended up opening a clothing store also.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So.
Well, what do you find motivates you?
I think what motivates me now is really a call to service and to helping people. As local elected officials, our main job is to help people. We are kind of the closest relationship that most people will have with government, and that's your city council people and your members of the Board of Supervisors. So I take every phone call, I take every meeting, and I really enjoy helping people solve a problem. And sometimes I can't help them, but just listening to them and offering suggestions and sending them in the right direction, that gives me a lot of satisfaction to know I've helped solve a problem for people.
And I think that's the most amazing thing about local government is that we can all do that.
Yes.
Pick up the phone.
Yep, pick up the phone, know who your representatives are. If you live in the city limits, know who your council people are. If you live in the county, know who your district supervisor is. I represent District 3, which is the city limits of Grass Valley and kind of the surrounding areas up to the airport, a little bit out to Squirrel Creek Road, Allison Ranch Road, and then Cedar Ridge. So those are all in my district. So I welcome people to call me. I'm one of the only supervisors who I have my county cell phone on my webpage at the county website. So if you need me, just go look up Lisa Swarthout, District 3, and it'll pop up on that first page.
And you will answer them.
And I will answer them. If I don't answer them, I will call them back.
I think that's just, that is so amazing.
I will say I probably won't answer just because
that's true.
I have to keep my phones on silent, because if I don't, I would just be, constantly.
You may be in an interview.
Yeah, exactly. Or in a meeting.
Well, this year is the year of small business. And why is small business so important to you?
Well, I think we started off with that.
Yes.
As a small business person, I owned my store for 30 years. I worked in my family business since I was a teenager. I've always been very motivated by being self-employed and really being an entrepreneur. Although probably at the time I opened my store, I didn't even know what that word meant. But small business, it's a struggle, especially in a small rural environment. And I really just want to make sure that we as the county are not becoming obstacles for people to open and run small businesses. So my goal is really to work with the existing business community to see how, we can help with people with business expansion, or if there are young people who are in the community, or anybody in the community, don't have to be young, who wants to start a business. Last night I had the pleasure of going to the Sierra Commons food.
Yeah.
They did their food igniter kind of graduation, and just to see the breadth of talent that we have in this county. And I saw a few people that I knew who I didn't know had those talents, who were making product. And it was really fascinating, and really, it was really enlightening. And I know when I started my business in 1989, those types of organizations like the Sierra Business Council and Sierra Commons, the Economic Resource Council, they didn't exist. So I really want to make sure that small businesses are using the resources that we have in the community to help themselves.
And this is a little along the same lines, but how does small business create well-being in a community like ours?
Well, it provides jobs. Small business is probably the largest component of our work sector here, other than government or the hospital. It provides jobs. It provides economic opportunity. It provides for someone like me who wanted to move back to Grass Valley after having been gone for 10 or 12 years, an opportunity to be able to create a job for myself. So I just think, it really does create economic wealth in our community. It allows people the opportunity to buy goods and services in the county versus having to drive down the hill. It's better for the environment if we don't have to leave. I mean, there's so many things that go into it. Also, last year, Chair Hall, her theme was the Year of the Youth.
Mm-hmm.
This really ties into our youth too. There's many, having been on Mill Street for so many years, now I'm starting to see the second and third generation populations of business owners and families. And it's just, I love it. Yeah, I love the fact that the kids wanted to stay here, wanted to take over their family business because they saw the opportunity for it.
Well, in addition to running a business and serving on the council and the board of supervisors, you've also served on a lot of boards.
I have.
And so what do you enjoy about serving on boards?
I believe that our nonprofits do nothing but make our community a better place. And if I can be a part of that, I want to be a part of it. I've been very involved over the last few years with the Center for the Arts. I've been on the Hospital Foundation board. You read off quite the list. I was actually one of the founding board members for the Friendship Club back in 1996, 95 or 96. And I see what that organization has grown into here, and it's amazing. I haven't had the opportunity to work with Sierra Harvest very much, but the work that they do, especially now the Community Roots program, the organizations that we have here is what makes our community unique. And now that I'm on the county side, I volunteered with Sammy's, but now I get to work with them as a county person, and they're our contractor, and they help run our shelter. And having worked with them and volunteered with them, it's so great to know how it operates,
how it works,
and what amazing work that they do to really help save the animals in the community. So that my career was rewarding. I was really happy to be in retail for all those years, and I really love my government work, but I really love the nonprofits because, again, I think it's what makes our community such a great place.
Did you grow up always focusing on community participation and community, serving your community?
I will say I learned it from my dad. When we moved to Grass Valley, I was a teenager. I went to Nevada Union High School, and my dad came up here and immediately got involved in the Lions Club and the Grass Valley Downtown Association and the Chamber of Commerce and just all sorts of things. And I was shucking corn at the fair when I was 14 years old in the Lions corn booth because my dad was a Lion, and I think I saw his example, and that's what I knew I wanted to do when I came back here and opened my business. I knew I wanted to get involved in the community as well.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like you'd have much downtime.
Yeah, I find some.
Well, how do you think that serving on a board makes a community stronger?
I think that the one thing that I love about Nevada County is the diversity of the people who live here, both people who've lived here their whole lives and new people who've moved into the community over the years. And I believe everybody brings their unique experience to serving on a board. For example, on the Center for the Arts board, we have a gentleman who's an attorney, but he's an entertainment attorney. So he brings that experience to it, which is an experience that we never had before. Working with Sammy's friends, I served on their board, and there was a retired veterinarian on the board, and there was a retired county person on that board, and they all brought a unique experience to it. I like to bring my small business mind to nonprofits, because while nonprofits are there to serve a purpose, they also have to have a business function as well and be financially successful. So I like to make sure that everybody's doing things that are within their budget, and kind of running it like a business, but also with the thought of serving people.
What does it mean to you to be a woman in today's world?
I think women have come a long way. I have felt in my professional career that I've always been very supported by everybody that I've worked with. Sometimes you struggle. When I first started in the political world, oftentimes I was the youngest person in the room, and a few times the only woman in the room. And you have to work a little bit harder to prove yourself. But once I did that, and when I say work harder, you need to show up. And you need to do what you say you're going to do, and people will respect you. And I have found in my experience, it didn't matter if I was a man or a woman, I was able to get that respect because I showed up and I did the work, and people learned to respect that. And I tell young women, persevere, and don't be intimidated by your surroundings. And, really, you're smart, you're talented as just as anybody else, and, put yourself out there and show up and do the work.
Well, what's something you can tell us about yourself that people don't know that you're willing to share?
So this is one that I always use because it's kind of funny. So back in the day when I was at Nevada Union High School, there was only one high school in Grass Valley at the time. Actually, there was two. There was Nevada Union and Empire.
Empire High School.
Empire High School, which is now. So Empire High School was what they called continuation school back in the day. It's now the Silver Springs campus. We've evolved a lot.
Which you served on their foundation.
I was on their foundation board years ago. Yeah. I would say I was the minor mascot for the 1979-1980 basketball year.
Good to know, but you had a mask on.
Well, no, I didn't. We didn't have the big minor outfits then. We just kind of, there's some great pictures out there. Every once in a while, one of my high school friends will post our picture on Facebook. But I'm actually still friends with my cohort in that. She lives up in Tahoe now, but we often get together. We just had our 45th high school reunion last year. We get together and we joke about it. And we still know the cheers and
I love it.
And just a little fun fact. So I did that in 1979, 1980. Renette Senum, who was also a former mayor of Nevada City, she and I served as mayors of the towns at the same time. She was the minor mascot, I think, in 1982. She was a couple years younger than me. Wow. So we always joke about that. The minor spirit is alive and well with us.
That is fantastic. Fantastic, Lisa.
I'm sure there's lots of other things too that nobody wants to know, but I always find that one entertaining because I wasn't technically a cheerleader because I'm not really the cheerleader type. If there is a type, there probably isn't a type anymore. But had so much fun, and actually the young women that I worked with, we're still friends to this day, and we get together and joke about it.
So, do you think it makes a difference that you grew up here? In terms of your serving, or would you be serving wherever you were?
I think I would be serving wherever I am, but what I find, I will fully admit that I love being the big fish in the little pond. Many of my friends are from college, ended up in the Bay Area or in the Sacramento area for careers, and they never really got involved in the community because it was harder for them because they weren't so close to it. Sometimes when my Bay Area friends come up to visit, we'll be walking down Mill Street and I'll see people and everybody will say hello. Or from Nevada City, they'll say, "What are you doing over here? You're a Grass Valley person," and they're always amazed, like, "How come you know everybody?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a concerted effort to get to know people." But it really pays off. I have zero regrets for my life of being up here and being in service. And I did a little student government when I was at Nevada Union.
Oh, did you? What were you?
I was the senior class representative my senior year, and then I served as I think I was the vice president of the overall school one semester as well. So. And you'd be surprised if I told you some of the people I went to high school with who are still here in the community, small owner businesses. My friend Paul Aguilar, who owns A&A Heating and Air Conditioning, he also was the student body president. My friend Kevin Casey, who owned Casey Wood, he was involved in school stuff. So yeah, some of us are still around. We're still stuck around.
Think that's so fabulous. Yeah, just to see that history. And the other thing about this community is I do feel that even those folks who have been here for a long time don't mind having new people come
No,
in.
and I think for me, one of the things, I kind of was the best of both worlds. You know, I know the old guard of Nevada County. You know, my dad was friendly with a lot of the people, served in the Lions Club, did a lot of things in the community. So I knew a lot of them. I went to high school with their kids. But then having a business, you have to have the connection with the new people who move here, because those were your customers also.
Yes.
So I was very lucky. I had a combination of, you know, native Nevada County people who'd lived here forever, but also new people would come and find me. And it was great. Some of my closest friends are people that were transplants that moved here from other areas.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this special Women's History segment of Nevada County Now. Make sure to check out our other interviews. Our community is full of amazing women like Lisa Swarthout.
Thank you, Lori.